So, moving further, you were selected as a delegate in the HPAIR's annual conference, and also you've been attending the
HPAIR.
Harvard US India Initiative, that is the HUII, that conference for the past 3 years. So, how has that helped you to improve your skill set, and how, what can be the two, three key things to take away?
Yeah, sure. Well, a great deal, actually. So apart from networking, of course, all of this really helps in enlarging one's perspective. So as a background, HPAIR is an international students conference where social, economic, and political issues relevant to the Asia Pacific region are discussed. And it's a biannual event. So there's a Harvard edition, which takes place at Harvard itself. And then there's an Asia edition, which takes place somewhere in Asia, somewhere in the Asia Pacific region. And HUI is an India specific event, but along the same lines. So my main reason for applying for these conferences was this. As CA students, we have almost zero college life. As a result, we lose out on a lot of networking and socializing opportunities. We do not have events, fests, etc. So it's just a 3-year articleship at one firm. We're only allowed to change the firm once. So, you can imagine. So there's nothing really extracurricular that a typical CA student does, and that's quite unfortunate. Which is why the effort to apply to all these conferences so that one gets to know people outside of one's own discipline, and the interaction definitely broadens your perspective and worldview. The exposure that one gets there gets at such conferences, at such events, is simply amazing. You get to know people from all walks of life. You get to listen to such amazing speakers, and yeah, it also helps a great deal in networking. So yeah, and of course, the icing on the cake is the Harvard edition of the HPAIR conference is held at the Harvard University itself. So getting a chance to actually visit the university and interact with folks there it's an opportunity too good to put down. It's something that I would highly recommend.
So did you end up going to Harvard then?
Yes, in 2017.
Great. So I still didn't get the hierarchy of the process. So how does it work? Like you apply for India, then if you perform well, then
No,
you are
so these
selected to.
these conferences are not related.
Okay.
These are different conferences. HPAIR is for discussing issues specific to the Asia Pacific region, while this HUI is more India specific. So these are two different conferences. So in the website, you are supposed to fill an application form. You are supposed to write a few essays. Then on the basis of that, they shortlist you for an interview, and based on that interview and your application form, then they finally give you the decision. As far as HPAIR is concerned, as far as HUI is concerned, there is no interview, but you just have to fill in the form and write a few essays, etc.
And HPAIR is a fully sponsored trip to Harvard then, I guess.
It's not actually. It's not. You have to. There are scholarships available. Of course, there are a variety of scholarships available, but yeah, it's not sponsored, unfortunately. Yeah.
If you could enlighten us on how was the experience at Harvard then?
Well, it was that was my second HPAIR conference. My first HPAIR conference was in 2016, just right after I qualified, right after I became a chartered accountant. That was in Hong Kong. I attended the Asia conference at that time. So you are supposed to select a theme, basically a panel in as part of the application form. So you have panels like business and the world economy, security and diplomacy, health and social welfare, environment, public policy, etc. And based on the panel, again, of course, there are keynote sessions which are attended by all, and then there are panel discussions over a course of 3 to 4 days. So where you sit with your own group, own fellow delegates who opted for that panel, and then you participate there. There are a lot of activities that take place, a lot of competitions that take place, and a few networking events in between. So yeah, it's a really wonderfully structured conference, and the same format carries over to the Harvard conference also. So the conferences are identical, just that the Harvard edition happens at the Harvard University, which is what makes it worth it.
Yeah,